Hi, how's it going? My name's Cameron Polson. I work over at TekMat in the production area, and today I'm going to be showing you how to clean this 1911. Alright, let's get started. First, before we do anything, we're going to want to take safety into account. Go ahead and take the magazine out, and then you're going to want to rack the slide and pop it open. Go ahead and visually and touch inspect the chamber to make sure that there's nothing in there. Looks like this gun is clear, so we're ready to go. All right, let's get into these tools that we're going to be using today. We've got the cleaning rod first with our bore brush attached right here. And then we also have our jag that can be used to clean out the barrel. Then we have our patches, both thick and thin here. And then we have our tech towel right here. It's really great. And then underneath our gun, we do have our TekMat right here. We have our 1911 to go with the gun that we're cleaning. And it's really great. They're oil resistant, so you won't get the place you're working on dirty or anything. And they have the diagram of the gun just in case you get lost. You can go ahead, take a look right over here and see all the parts we have. And then we also have the cleaner right here, the lubricant, the protectant, some Q-tips for nooks and crannies, and then we do have our brush that we'll apply all these three to the gun with. All right, now we can go ahead and disassemble the gun. First, what we're going to want to do is let the slide go, and then in a safe direction put the hammer down. And then with 1911s, the way we start is we're going to go ahead and push the plug and recoil spring down right here, and then move the barrel bushing clockwise. Now, little tricky part right here is this plug will tend to shoot off the recoil spring if you don't let it go up smoothly. There we go. And then with two different models of 1911s, in particular this one, the recoil spring won't actually come out. You can take the plug off. So if it gets stopped right there, that's fine. Some models will allow you to take the recoil spring out from here, but if your gun is like this, don't worry about it. We'll be able to get it in just a little bit. You're going to want to go ahead and switch this barrel bushing so that it's facing to the right now, and that way you'll be able to take it out. All right, so now to get the slide off, we're going to go ahead and just push the slide to where this nook is lined up with the slide stop. And then on the side of the gun right here, there is a button to push the slide stop out. We're going to go ahead and take it out now, and the slide should just come right off like that. And then, like I was saying before, we can go ahead and take that recoil spring out now, put that off to the side, and this barrel should just come out right from the front. And now your firearm is disassembled and ready to be cleaned. Now we can go ahead and start cleaning. We've got our dropper here that's got our cleaner in it. We really like the dropper system because it allows you to control exactly how much cleaner, lubricant, and protectant you want to use. I'll start off by just putting a couple drops onto the brush, a liberal amount, so that you can, really get the grime off. And then we'll start off by just scraping off this carbon buildup on this barrel right here first. Go ahead and get a nice firm grip on it and just brush away. And after we've gone ahead and finished scrubbing the outside with the brush, we'll get our cleaning rod and bore brush and put a little bit of cleaner onto that so that we can go ahead and clean the inside of the barrel and clean the rifling. And then also, because this is a swivel clean rod, we can go ahead and run it through and then run it back through and pull it through. You don't have to worry about messing up the rifling. The rod actually moves with the rifling itself in there, making it a lot easier to clean this gun instead of just having to push it through once and then restart again. All right, perfect. We're gonna go ahead and let that barrel just sit right there and let the cleaner soak into the bore so that we can get that really cleaned out. And then we're going to move our way over to this slide assembly. We're going to start with the upper receiver. Put a little bit more cleaner on the brush. So you're going to want to clean the rail slots right here, the breech face, and the extractor. And that'll go ahead and just ensure that your gun is running smoothly and effectively. And we're going to want to go ahead and also just take care of the outside so that you get any dirt or anything that has built up or gotten on the gun as you've been using it. All right, we'll go ahead and let that sit there and soak in the cleaner and move on to the lower receiver. Again, we're going to go ahead and pay attention to the rail slots right here. to make sure to really get into there and clean off all that carbon. And then just go along the outside of the gun a little bit to clean up any dirt or anything that has gotten on the gun, just like the top receiver. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and clean the plug for our recoil spring. A nice just scrape down of the outside with our brush and some cleaner on it. And move on to the recoil spring itself. Just like the plug, just go ahead and wipe down the outside so that we can get carbon buildup or any dirt or debris that's gotten on here. We can go ahead and knock that all off. And then, just like everything else, we'll let it sit while we go ahead and take our attention over to the slide stop. Just clean pretty much the entire surface. Give it a good rundown. Shouldn't take too long. And there you go, just like that. We'll go ahead and set that off to the side. And then you don't have to clean the magazine every time, but every once in a while it's nice to just go ahead and get any dirt or carbon buildup or debris or anything at all that has built up over time, to knock that off here, just so that, again, your gun's cycling and running smoothly. All right, so now that our cleaner has been soaking in our bore, in our barrel, we're gonna go ahead and get our cleaning rod. We're gonna take the bore brush off and switch over to our jag. So that way we can just run a couple of pads through the barrel and get off any excess cleaner or dirt that has just gotten stuck in there and hasn't come out yet. We'll go ahead, and I like to use the thinner pads. I find that the thinner pads go through easier, and you've probably found that too. They're just overall easier to use. We'll go ahead and just, you only run it through one time, and then I like to run as many through until they come out clean, just so that you know that you've gotten pretty much all the dirt or anything that was in there that you need to get off. Then, all right. And then for the sake of the video, we're gonna go ahead and say that that's clean enough. Put that off to the side. And we should be good to go ahead and get one of the thicker pads and then just wipe off the cleaner off the outside of the gun so that we can go ahead and start getting ready to apply our lubricant. And then you're just gonna wanna do the same thing for pretty much the rest of the parts until you get all of them cleaned up and ready to be lubricated so that we can put the gun back together. All right. The plug walk. Then we've got our recoil spring right here. Go ahead and just clean the whole thing down. Lower receiver. Make sure to really get the cleaner out of this rail slide, the rail slot, and just most of the inside of the gun. All right, and just like the lower receiver, we're gonna wanna go ahead and get the upper receiver and clean off where they meet at the slide rail sight. And then just all of the outside of the slide is gonna wanna get a nice rundown so that we can have a nice clean coat, a nice base to put our lubricant on. And then our cotton swabs are going to come in handy right here. They make a great tool to clean these hard to get areas like the rail slides. Perfectly easy. And there we go, just like that. Couple more times. And just like the pads, I like to go until really no more black is coming up onto the cotton swab so that you know that you're really set and you're clean. And then same for the lower receiver. It helps to go through the slide rails just like that. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and get our lubricant and start lubricating the gun. The way I like to start off is just by going to the slide rail and putting a little bit of lubricant so that you can rub it in with maybe a cotton swab or a pad. And then you really want to just put lubricant anywhere metal touches metal. So a little bit right there. Turn it over, apply some to the same area on this side. And then we'll go ahead and get our cotton swab and just rub that around so that the entire area is nice and coated. It all is sliding well. And then also around here where the barrel bushing goes, you want to get a nice amount of lubricant so that the entire system is just sliding smoothly. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the lower receiver and just do pretty much the same thing right where we put that oil. We're going to wipe it down so that we get it across the entire surface area of this slide rail. And then we'll go ahead and put the lower receiver down and move over to the barrel. You want to put a nice amount of lubricant on the barrel, as this is what's going to be coming into contact with a lot of metal. You want it to be running smoothly, especially on the barrel link. You want everything to be in order. And then for the barrel itself, I like to use a pad because it makes just the job a lot easier. With them being a lot bigger, you can get oil around the entire barrel much faster. All right, and then we'll move over to this recoil spring as well. Just a little bit. Just enough so you can get some on the pad and then work it around the recoil spring right here. Same with the recoil spring plug and the barrel bushing and the slide stop. Since you've been using this pad on the barrel, it should have a decent amount of oil so that you can go ahead and not use a lot more oil. That's the great thing about these droppers right here, and one thing that we really love about them here at TekMat is they help you control how much oil you're using so that you're not using too much and having to go buy oil every like 10 times you clean your gun. It just makes it a lot easier, a lot more cost effective. All right, there we go. And then you can apply a nice little liberal amount of oil to the magazine. It never hurts just because it is metal as well. And so after we do go ahead and get done with putting the lubricant on the magazine, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to put our protectant on the gun. And what the protectant does is it's just basically a conditioner for our metal. It'll go ahead and keep it nice and protected, as the name says, for as long as it takes for you to go ahead and shoot your gun and get it back to cleaning. Alright, we'll go ahead and get our Tek towel now, and we'll just put a little bit of protector on it right there. And then you just really want to wipe the gun down really nice. Make sure the protectant gets all over it. Just a little more. Alright, we'll go ahead and get the upper receiver now. Barrel bushing, and really you just want to do this to all the parts of your gun. And yeah, so it's basically just kind of like a lighter lubricant to go over the lubricant to protect it all and just give that one nice final coat of protection. And then the magazine as the final part, and then after this we'll be able to go ahead and get our gun put back together. And we're going to start with our slide right here, and then just like you remember in the beginning, the barrel does just go in from the front, and then we're going to get our recoil spring and just put it right through there. And this model, like others, has a little groove right here that'll just fit perfectly on the barrel. And then for 1911s, we have our barrel link right here that we're going to want to go ahead and make sure it's in the down position so that when we put it on the lower receiver, you'll see this little hole right here, which is actually where the slide stop is entered. Once you get it all put into place, you'll actually be able to see the hole from the barrel link right here, which is right here on our TekMat. If you look really closely, you'll see when the barrel moves, the little hole for the barrel link also moves. We'll go ahead and just turn it back, and that's why you want to make sure that the barrel stays still. You'll go ahead and put the slide stop in, and just like that, the barrel is back on the gun. The last couple steps are putting on the barrel bushing. I like to start off with the barrel bushing and then turning it over back to the clockwise or left position, just because it'll make it a lot easier to put this plug back on in the long run. Because then you can just push it on like that, click it back into place. There we go. All right, that's how we go ahead and clean this 1911 here. I know there's many ways to clean it, and if you have your own version or own method, go ahead and put it down in the comments, as well as any other guns that you'd like to see us clean. If you want to go ahead and purchase your own TekMat of 1911 or any gun that we offer, go to tekmat.com and take a look at our wide selection. I hope you have a good one. Take care.